teach, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashim Shai Bashim Rakah Kwadash. And I was trying to come up with a title, and I decided on naming this video, the title in this video, Teach, because that's what I want to go into. So I looked up the word teach in the New Testament. I'll let you listen.
Strong's G 1321. Didasko. Didasko.
Now it says didasko is a prolonged causative form of a primitive verb, deo, to learn. Greek word deo is to learn. So you learn from a teacher. So we being teachers, we're to teach the scriptures, the truth. That's it. That's our job. You know, you go out on the highways and the byways, you do your sit-downs. The reason why we do this, the only reason why we do this, is to teach others, and for them that are being taught is to also become teachers, we're not here to entertain you. You know, if you come around us, if you listen to the videos of myself or anybody, it's not for entertainment. As a matter of fact, if you believe that this is only for entertainment and you're entertained by this, you most likely are not of the elect, because ultimately, and this goes to the men, ultimately, you are to become teachers. This is why you watch us. This is why you watch the videos. This is why you watch the street speaking, the sit downs, and so forth. Our job is to teach. That's it. That's it. So now the definition pursuant to the term
Strong's G 1321. Didasko. Didasko.
it says to teach, to hold discourse with others in order to instruct them. You know, if you want to become a police officer, you have to go to the police academy. And I don't know if you're there for 6 months or whatever. You got to go look it up, depending on the jurisdiction. You know, you're trained to be a police officer, then you're considered a rookie, and you're under a superior officer, so you can learn on the job. You don't go to the police academy just to say, oh, I went to this police academy, now I'm going to do something else. No, you join the police academy, you become a police officer based upon going to the academy, learning how to shoot guns, you know, learning how to write, learning on certain laws and so forth, or ordinances in the various jurisdictions. So, you know, anytime you get a job, you become a doctor, you have to be taught. You don't just get up and say, I'm going to be a doctor. You just start cutting people open. And you got a lot of people out there that watch our videos and they just wake up and they just say, I'm going to be a teacher. And they'll get a garment, put fringes on it, and they'll go out and teach, and never came up under anybody. Or they came up under different groups of Israelites. And anytime you see a bugged out crazy comment and you click on a guy's page, most likely you'll see he'll have He'll subscribe to GMS. He'll subscribe to IUIC. He'll subscribe to HOI. He'll subscribe to GOCC. And you know the man's totally confused. Oh, and then he'll have some music videos. And that video and that page might have been up for the last 10 years. And they'll come on the page and tell you that you're going off. That's why we cut these fools off. We cut these jokers off. Your job is to teach under the true teachers of the Most High that teach 100% truth. Anybody that's teaching that the MOTB, not the MOB, but the MOTB, which stand for M, mark, O, of, T, the, and B, beast. Anybody that's teaching that it's talking about Christianity and sleeping with white women, and you still following those people and the embargo, you're going to get caught out there. Like I said, when all hell breaks loose, and the way they're pushing this juicy juice, that's pretty much a test as to what they're gonna do when they give you the charagma. And they're at the point where they're gonna force this juicy juice on you, and the same thing, they want to force the charagma on you. So anybody that's teaching something different, you should leave that circle. GMS is the only one that teaches this MOTB constantly. Because that's the last major prophecy before the destruction of this current system. Anyway, let's read on. Teach, to hold discord with others in order to instruct them. And why are you instructing them? So they can become instructors. That we teach you, you learn, you master it, you become a teacher. You teach others, they learn, they master it, they become teachers. And the true teachers are of the elect. Because you have many men in the past that came into this thing and fell off, and they said, I'm going to still teach. And then you see that all the wine, leaked out of them. They became old wine bottles. They'll completely, everything that they learned from us, I'm talking about GMS, when they no longer want to deal with this thing, or they get kicked out, or for whatever reason, they'll either just go back into the world, just become a Negro. They might know that they're Israelite. They might say, no, I wasn't an Israelite. Or they might say, yeah, I'm an Israelite, and I believe I'm a man of the Lord. And then you teach, but then you knock everything that you were taught by your teachers who instructed you. Oh, they went off on this. Oh, you look around. I can name names, but there's so many of them that did that. And then they'll either get worse and worse, as the scriptures say, wax worse and worse, or they'll keep teaching and just keep knocking what they were taught. Anyway, it says to hold discourse with others in order to instruct them. Why do you instruct them? So that they can become teachers and instruct others. As a matter of fact, the Apostle Paul said that to Timothy. Give me a second. Bear with me for a minute. Let's see if it comes up. Yep, it came up. Okay, 1 Corinthians 14, verse 19. The key precept is 2 Timothy 2, verse 2. This is the Apostle Paul talking to Timothy, the Israelite that had a Greek father. Anyway, it says 1 Corinthians 14, verse 9. The key one is in 2 Timothy 2, 2. But since 1 Corinthians 14 and 19 came up, I'm going to read it. It says, yet in the church I had rather speak 5 words with my understanding, that by my voice I might teach others also, than 10,000 words in an unknown tongue. So that's self-explanatory. 2 Timothy 2, verse 2. Let me start from 1. Thou therefore, my son, this is the Apostle Paul talking to his spiritual son, Timothy, which, by the way, is not an Edomite. He's not a Tyr. And it said in Acts 16, the first couple of verses, it speaks about his father being a Greek. So is his father an Edomite? If his father's an Edomite, that makes Timothy an Edomite. So if you say, no, he's an Israelite Greek, the Greeks are the Israelites that they lost their religion, so to speak, during the time of the Maccabean period, Antiochus Epiphanes. So what about Cornelius? Doesn't that apply to Cornelius as well? See, anybody that's teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite, they're clearly going off, and you shouldn't be around them. It said, thou therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Yahushua HaMashiach. Second verse, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. So we don't teach people for people to be entertained. You have to learn this in order for you to teach it. We are saying, even Yaquab, High Priest Yaquab, said that we're teaching this to you so you can teach. He used to always say that. So when the masses come in, you guys will be the teachers. High Priest Yaquab used to always say that. So we can come back here. Let's come back. To teach. We're reading the definition of the word teach. To hold discourse with others in order to instruct them. Instruct them for what? So that they can become instructors. Deliver didactic discourse. And that word didactic goes back to the Greek, which means to teach. And the root of the word odio is to learn, We're not good teachers if you're not learning. And if you're not learning, either we're not teaching you correctly, or you're not accepting it, or it's going in one ear and out the other. Remember the old Bibles. As a matter of fact, there was a older brother, he had his son. He wasn't from Chicago, but he was close to the GMS Chicago camp. Beautiful brother. You know, he did a video saying that I thought I knew everything until I ran across the prophets of GMS. Then he got with it. And then all of a sudden, but he was up in age, a little up in age. Then one day he cursed us out. Oh, you guys, hey, you teaching this wrong, you teaching that wrong. I said, boom, that he sprung a leak. I mean, the brother, I wish the brother well, and his son. you know. But he was an older cat, and so he was an old bottle of an old wine bottle. So when new wine was given to him, which is the truth, he sprung leaks. So he's out of there, you know. And it wasn't, and he didn't come against us because he was necessarily wicked. It was just that that's how the Most High works. See, everything in the scriptures, the Most High gives you examples. Yeah, I remember we used to speak on 34th and we'd be speaking about the Edomite and how they read. And then just when we're saying that, you see an Edomite with red hair walk down the street and then we'll say, you see? And then the audience will look, oh shit. Anyway, let's go on. The definition of teach. To discharge the office of a teacher. Conduct oneself as a teacher. And then you have to be consistent when you're teaching. Just like when you went to school. You went to the first grade, you had a teacher, and that teacher never, it seemed like that teacher never was sick. And if the teacher was sick, they had a substitute teacher for that day. You go to the first grade, second grade, third grade. All those teachers were dedicated to their job in teaching you that bullshit. It says to teach one. And a teacher that teaches one, that one becomes a what? A teacher. This is not about entertainment. I can't say that enough. To impart instruction. Go back to the police academy. Now, if you was a part of the police academy, and you let's say it's 6 months, and you couldn't make it because of this, and you couldn't make it because of that, and you missed, let's say you missed 2 months out of the 6 month period, you ain't gonna graduate. You ain't gonna go to the next level. You're not gonna become a police officer. Instill doctrine into one. Instill doctrine into one. Now that's a whole another subject. Doctrine. The thing taught or enjoined. And people that are on the outside listening, if they're a part of the elect, they're going to come on this side and become teachers. That's a C. That's a heavy definition. The thing taught or enjoined. To explain or expound a thing. See, right now I'm getting into these prophetic breakdowns. You know, you got a lot of brothers out there that'll go jump from one precept to the next precept, which is good. But sometimes you got guys that if you go to a particular prophetic breakdown and you go a verse down or a verse up, they might not understand it. It said to explain or expound a thing, to teach one something. Okay, there's a whole bunch of precepts on the word teach. So, but what I did was I took the word teacher and I said, let me see what precepts pop up with the word teacher. There's what, 5 or 6 precepts, 7 precepts. But if you go to the word teach, there's a lot more precepts, which I'm not going to go into. Anyway, it says here, I'm just reading these precepts that line up. It says 1 Chronicles 25 verse 8, and they cast lots. Oh, by the way, casting lots is righteous and spiritual. I remember during the time of the Cornelius Council, which was a council after this major split, we got kicked out of the house of David because we were teaching that Cornelius was an Israelite. Now these same guys that came against us, they all teach that Cornelius is an Israelite. The number one person that comes to mind is he likes to call him, fancy himself as a bishop, Bishop Nathaniel. We knew him as Nathaniel Aga. He was dead set against Cornelius being an Israelite. But now he teaches that Cornelius is an Israelite. Remembering James, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So eventually he said Cornelius is an Edomite, but after all those splits and everything and years go by, he's now teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. What is he currently teaching now? The mark of the beast is an embargo in Christianity, the same thing that General Yohana teaches. But they're gonna realize, if they don't realize it already, because I think Bishop Nate or Nathaniel already knows that the mark of the beast is the MOTB, is the Charisma. That's why when he does, recently he did a video, and a couple of his men under him did videos, and they were dealing with, and I did videos on both, on the last video that Nathaniel and some of his men did another video dealing with Revelation 13. And I said, well, let me listen to this whole video to see what they're going to say about the 15, 16, and 17 verse. Do you know they didn't touch the 15, 16, and 17? They might have touched the 15, but they damn sure didn't touch, they damn sure didn't go to the 16 and the 17 verse. So why did they not deal with that? Because they already know, in my opinion, they already know that they were wrong. But you know what? In order for you to say, teach it the way we teach it, people are going to start saying, well, wait a minute. You said for years, anytime GMS put up a video on that subject, you came against it. But now if you notice, when they go to Revelation 13, they won't even touch the 15, 16, maybe 16 and 17 verse are hot potatoes. They don't want to touch it. Oh, he made a statement about the time of Jacob's trouble. And he was on a show down in the islands, and the individual, I believe this man was a pastor, a broadcaster, a presenter. He had died recently, but he was cursing Nathaniel out about the time of Jacob's trouble, and Nathaniel said, "Oh, there ain't gonna be no time of Jacob's trouble." Now, how is it that there's not gonna be a time of Jacob's trouble when the very term, the very phrase, is written in the scriptures? That doesn't make any sense. And that's why we say that we have 100% truth. Meaning when we go into the scriptures and we break the scripture down, that's the right way. Don't question it. That's the right way. Well, do question it, meaning check it. Take upon yourself the spirit of the Church of Berea. It says, First Chronicles 25 verse 8, and they cast lots, ward against ward, as well the small as the great, the teacher as the scholar. I want to look up the word scholar. Salah Mayad. That's the Hebrew word. Okay, so it just says scholar. The root is lamad, which means to learn. So a scholar, is someone who is learned that becomes a teacher. It says to learn, teach, exercise, to learn, to teach, to be taught, be trained. So when you go to school, medical school, you are a scholar of that particular field. I'm just bringing it back. And a scholar is more of a student than a teacher. A scholar is someone that is learned and becomes a teacher or a learner. He teaches others. First Chronicles 25 verse 8, and they cast lots, ward against ward. Let me look up the word ward. Masha Marath. God, charge, function, obligation, service, watch, guard. If you get locked up, you're a ward of the state. You know, when you go to school as a child, you're a ward of the school system. First Chronicles 25 verse 8 again, and they cast lots, ward against ward, as well the small as the great, the teacher as the scholar. Now let me come back to the word cast, because Nathaniel's name came up. Now at that Cornelius council, I said, well, let's cast a lot. And he jumped up and he said, that's wicked. He was dead wrong on that. And so if that was wicked, that means Matthias is not one of the 12, because the 11 apostles performed a wicked act in Acts, the first chapter. Habakkuk 2 verse 18. What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it? And by the way, graven, let me look up the word graven. I already know what it means, but let me see what it means in the Hebrew. Let's go a little deeper. Bear with me for a minute. They're not telling me, but graven means to take a tool and to etch and to sculpt into stone or wood. So that word charagma in the Greek goes back to the Hebrew word graven. Habakkuk 2 verse 18. It says, what profit the graven image that the maker thereof have graven it? that the maker thereof have graven it. Meaning the maker is a guy that took the chisel and, you know, graven a statue or put somebody's name in stone or wood. So the same thing with the charagma. The molten image and a teacher of lies. The Roman Catholic Church deal with idols. They got you in their houses. They got idols. You know, if you're a Roman Catholic, you got idols in your houses, and you bow down to them. And you go to the Roman Catholic Church, and there's images and idols up in there. Supposed to be Jake, but they're Edomites. The different various images of the Lord and the angels and the prophets. So that, number one, first and foremost, that starts with the Roman Catholic Church, which is found in Revelation 16. It speaks about the false prophet. It said teachers of lies. So they're teaching you, but they're teaching you lies. That the maker of his work trusteth therein to make dumb idols. St. John 3 verse 2. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, Rabbi, or Master, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High. So this guy's a teacher of the law. I'm talking about Nicodemus, a Pharisee, if you will, because some of those scribes and Pharisees knew that that was the Lord. So Nicodemus was a secret disciple to the Lord. He said, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except the Most High be with him. Now the wicked scribes and Pharisees said, oh, he got that, yeah, he got power, but he got the power from the devil, which they were in danger of the judgment, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Romans 2 verse 20. An instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes. You cannot teach the professor. I had to bring that in there, inside joke. If you're a boxing fan, you would know what I'm talking about. Well, that's true. You cannot teach the professor. If you can't learn if you a teacher. If you claim to be a teacher, well, yeah, I know a little something too, you know, I'm gonna add to it. No. You got to start from a newborn babe. Go back to St. John 3, because that's what the Lord told Nicodemus. You must be born again. It says, which Romans 2 verse 20, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which hath the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. 1 Timothy 2 verse 7. 1 Titus 2 verse 7. Whereunto I am ordained a preacher, an apostle, this is the Apostle Paul speaking, I speak the truth in Yahushua and lie not, a teacher of the Gentiles in faith and verity. He said a teacher of the Gentiles with an S. So did Paul teach other nations? No, he didn't teach other nations. He taught Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, that had to start from the word go. So this term Gentiles applies to Cornelius as well. Cornelius was the Israelite. A last precept, and I'm gonna close. 2 Titus. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. 2 Timothy. I said Titus. So that was 2 Timothy 2 verse verse 7, and now we're in 2 Timothy 1, verse 11. Whereunto I am appointed a preacher and an apostle and a teacher of the Gentiles. There again, it's talking about Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites, or Israelites in a Gentile state of mind. Now, the word preacher, let me see what the blue letter says. The word preacher actually means a prophet. So none of these clowns in the churches are preachers, because they're not prophesying. And the so-called black church for damn sure, right? It says, okay, a preacher, it says a herald or a messenger vested with the public authority. Now the word herald means prophet. Anyway, with that.